All right. So we have a few exciting things to talk about. I want to start with MiUi, which I think many of you have already experimented with, and I'm very, very excited to talk about. As I've mentioned before, MiUi has a very interesting and emotional history. It started with about 100 fans in 2010, people who were Android ROM enthusiasts and who became curious when they heard about this new thing that was coming that was called MiUi. It was a very customizable ROM that had some unique new features. The first 100 fans that registered in the first MiUi forum had their names burned into the ROM of MiUi 1.0. So in the splash screen of MiUi 1.0, you would see their names, their usernames, and sort of they entered history with us in that way. From that core base of 100 incredibly enthusiastic and dedicated users, we've now achieved over 85 million users worldwide. The number has actually grown well beyond 85 million, which makes it almost without any doubt one of the most popular, if not the most popular, Android ROM around the world. So it's a very, very significant achievement that I think even our own software engineers didn't expect when they started this project. So incredibly exciting that we're reaching so many people around the world. Something that we're really proud of is that because MiUi is designed with the needs of internet users in mind, it is a platform that drives incredible engagement with internet applications. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but on average, MiUi users spend 7% more time in apps than even the highest app engagement platform that we see out there, which is iOS, which is a very, very significant metric that I love coming back to. Welcome. Thank you for coming. MiUi has users in well over 100 countries now. It's been translated to almost 30 languages. And we have about 30 fan sites around the world. These are sites created by our fans. The language translations done by our fans as well. 3 of the languages that I just pulled from the console last week: Slovenian, Macedonian, and Albanian. Languages that probably some of us haven't even heard being spoken in our lives before. We get photos from our fans all the time. These are some of the photos that we received in the 4th anniversary of MiUi last year, which was when we announced the first alpha version of MiUi6. The MiUi community is what drives the development of MiUi. MiUi6, in fact, was an extraordinary achievement because a lot of the features that you're going to see in it today actually evolved quite a bit over the last 6 months through feedback from the fan community. And we can talk about this in a lot more detail this afternoon when we talk about MiUi. We'll do a very, very deep dive on the technical side of MiUi. So what most of you have already seen and have used is MiUi v5, which has been around for some time. We're now introducing MiUi 6. I'm going to do this animation again because it's beautiful. So that's MiUi 5. That's MiUi 6. Let's talk about MiUi 6. First of all, I'm very happy to announce that MiUi 6 is finally coming to India. We're very, very excited about this. We've been running beta tests groups with MiUi 6 across various devices here in India. And we're really, really, really excited to finally bring it to our fans. It's something that we've been getting requests for many months now. So I want to dive into MiUi 6, and I'll start with a really cool video that just will get us into the mood for talking about MiUi 6. right. Welcome to MiUi6. We're going to spend the next probably 15 minutes or so talking about what's new in MiUi6, what's exciting about it, and we're also going to revisit some of the features that we've improved from previous versions of MiUi. So MiUi5, for those of you who have used it, very, very well known for two things in particular. Customization, without a doubt, the most customizable Android ROM that you'll find, and also security, built-in security tools as well as performance tools. So we're going to continue to invest significantly into these pillars, if you will, customization and security. But to talk about MiUi6, I want to introduce three other pillars. Color, which is all about making things look beautiful. Motion graphics and animations that really makes things come to life, that finally exercises these amazing chipsets and GPUs that these devices come with. And content. Content is about putting the content that matters to you, that matters at the time, in front of you, at the center, making it the center of attention. So color, motion, content, customization, security. Color, content, motion, customization, security. My previous boss said, repetition does not spoil the prayer. So I keep saying it to myself over and over again. Color, motion, content, customization, and security. Let's start with color. And I have a few beautiful things that I'm going to show you mostly throughout today. You'll see a lot of extremely liberal use of color. We think that there's no limit to how much color can be used, and we have gone crazy in how we use color in MiUi6, and you'll see that all throughout. Let's spend a few minutes talking about motion. Like I said, motion graphics and animations, which is a very, very important part of MiUi6. This is presumably one of the equations that our motion designers used to talk about or to design motion into the platform. And I'll show you a few examples here. The first couple of examples actually have a motion chart on the right so that you can follow what's happening. This is time versus completion of the movement. And it's this beautiful parabolic movement. The first one is for the recents animation. So watch what happens when you press the recents button. You see how they came in at a slightly different speed and acceleration. If you want to see that again. Sorry. No, I got it. Manu, I got it. So beautiful how they come in sort of in this staggered fashion. I'm going to show you this one animation twice. This is from our clock application. The first time around, I'd like you to pay attention to the bottom of it. And then for the second time, we're going to pay attention to the top. So pay attention to the bottom and watch how what happens when you tab from one part of the app to the other. You see this again, this sort of staggered motion, which is described by the yellow curves on the bottom here. Now I'm going to play this again, and I'd like you to look at the top part of the screen, the colorful area, and watch the shape transitions, how they grow, how they bounce, and how one shape becomes another. Very, very subtle things that are sort of very, very delightful to the eye when you look at them, and they don't get you tired. You will see this and you'll be delighted time and time again because they're subtle enough. Beautiful. One of my favorite animations is the device unlock animation. When you power it up, you're on the lock screen, you slide up to unlock. This is what happens. Again, this beautiful animation, which again has this very sort of physically real movement. That's just delightful to watch. And you'll see that all throughout the UI. This is one of my favorite motion graphics designs as part of MiUi6, which is the weather app. So if you enter the weather app and then you flick up to see more information about the city, this is what you'll experience. So again, the various different modules of functionality, I'm going to play this again, animate as they come into the screen. It's beautiful. So that's the weather app. I think I have to be on this side. The power menu is a subtle but incredibly delightful application. What happens when you hold the power button? You see this. And then you hit airplane mode, and the airplane takes off. If you want to watch that again. Hold the power button. You see this, these 4 circles coming in. Press the airplane button. It sort of bounces ever so slightly, and then the little airplane takes off. It's absolutely beautiful. This is by far my favorite. So what happens when you delete an app? Traditionally, you drag the app to the delete target and it disappears. We thought, why can't we do something a little bit more fun? So watch what happens. You pick up the app, you drop it to the trash, press uninstall, and it just explodes. I'm going to show you another one. Now, pay attention to the colors of the dots. The exploding pieces of the icon vary based on, of course, the color of the icon. So here you're going to see red dots, cream color dots, blue dots, and green dots when we explode this app. Uninstall. Right, it's beautiful. You almost want to install a bunch of apps just so that you can uninstall them. So we'll come back to this. You know, these little things make a huge difference. So this is the Compass app. There's a couple of things I want you to notice. So first of all, when the phone is sort of facing down, what you'll notice is that there's a pretty awesome three-dimensional treatment that's given on the Compass. But then when you lift it up, what we thought was it would make most sense for you to be able to see where you're looking at, since we have a camera on the other side. So watch what happens. So you lift it up, you fade into a live view, and you can literally look at what's at 73 degrees, and so on. Icons embody this idea of color and motion in a very, very powerful way. And we have beautiful iconography as part of MiUi6. I want to show you what MiUi 5 looked like and what MiUi6 icons look like. So this were the icons from MiUi v5. They're nicely designed. They're sort of slightly three-dimensional. There's some weight to them. They're very, very good looking. But we thought we'd give them a complete new look through MiUi 6. So I'll show you this again. This is 5. This is 6. Some of them are just subtly different, but the difference matters a lot, and you can see how the whole family comes together in a really, really beautiful way. No saving of color. As much color as possible is what we've used. We've also added motion graphics in some really beautiful ways to our icons. So you'll see the calendar icon turn if you're watching carefully when the day goes from one to the next. Even the compass icon can be alive as well. So beautiful motion graphics also built into the icons themselves. So that was a bit of motion and color. Now I want to talk about content and what I mean when I say putting content at the very center. So first of all, we want to talk about notifications. We've done some pretty interesting and aggressive things about notifications on MiUi 6. Notifications is one of these things that's been on Android from the very beginning. It's been designed with the intention of course, making it such that apps can present themselves to you whenever it's important and when you really need to pay attention to something. However, notifications have in some ways become a bit burdensome, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the first thing we did with notifications was realizing that phone calls in particular are just not dealt with in the right way. This is something that we actually introduced just before launching MiUi 6 because it was a highly acclaimed feature, and then we brought it into MiUi 6 right away. So, when you're doing something on your device, whether you're playing a game, getting ready to take a photo, or you're actually texting someone, and a phone call comes in, it's this modal interruptive action. It sort of violently pulls you away from what you were doing. It almost never ends in happiness. So we thought, well, a phone call, unless you're doing nothing with your phone, should actually be a notification. A very in-your-face floating notification, as we call it. But it should not interrupt what you're doing necessarily. It should give you just enough time to finish what you're doing, whether that's taking a photo or texting someone. So like I said, we introduced this well before Lollipop did the same in MiUi 5, and then we brought it to MiUi 6. And it laid the groundwork for a lot of really interesting notifications work that we did, not only building into the product, but how we thought about notifications. And we've done some interesting things here. So first of all, this is what your notification shade might look like, right? You've got a bunch of different notifications, some of which are quite important, like a meeting that's about to start, somebody who just texted you or sent you a chat message, some of which are pretty unimportant or downright useless, things that maybe you can deal with later or not want to deal with at all. So we thought this was a decent insight. Important notifications and unimportant notifications, a decent enough insight that we thought we were going to do something about it, and we did. So in MiUi 6, notifications are displayed according to their importance in a very simple way. There's important notifications and there's unimportant notifications. We do intelligent prioritization and a lot of curation. If all of you were apps and I asked you, is your notification important? You'd say yes, right? No one is going to say, my notifications are not important. So we said, we're going to be the authority, and we're going to decide along with our users what notifications are important and what notifications are not important. And we're going to give them a different treatment, while, of course, retaining your ability to do whatever you want as a user and customize things the way you want. Let me be very specific. There's basically 4 places where notifications can appear on MiUi. They can appear on the notification shade, right, which is what you pull down. They may appear on the status bar, which is the thing on the very, very top. They may appear on the lock screen, or they may appear on the desktop itself, which is not something that's done in Android traditionally, but which we do, right? So if an app has a notification, it might show a badge. This is something that iOS and WebOS have done. So first of all, what happens to unimportant notifications? Well, by default, unimportant notifications are tucked away neatly outside of your view. They do not appear in front of you whatsoever. They're signaled to you by the operating system with these 3 dots over here. Then, of course, if you want to look at them, what you do is you pull down the shade. What you do is you pull down the shade, and there they are, your unimportant notifications, and you can do whatever you want to do with them. You can kill them all. You can obviously triage them if you'd like. So by default, these unimportant notifications are not going to show up at all. You're not even going to see an icon for these unimportant notifications on the status bar. If you are an icon kind of person and you want to see them, you can turn them on. There's an option in settings that says show status bar icons, and then you're going to see the icons on the top. However, we've made this area actually quite short, so you're not going to see scrolling notifications that get in your way. Those are gone, not in MiUi 6. You will see the icons if you want, but by default, not even the icons for the unimportant notifications. Again, you can turn them on if you like. And then what happens with the important notifications, your calendar notification, your WhatsApp, your hike, any other important high priority notifications, according to our authority and that of our users, they will appear as a floating notification. And what you can do is you can click on them, and you can go to the application, or you can flick them away if you don't want to deal with them at the time, right? The way we've designed this is, unless you're using 10 different instant messaging applications and have people texting you all the time, you're not going to be burdened all the time by one of these floating notifications. And it's up to us, not up to the app, to decide. And of course, we do it, again, with our users. This stuff is crowdsourced, right? So that we have a pretty good judgment of what's important and what's not important. But what if you disagree with us? What if you say, well, I actually think that such and such application is really important? I'll come back to that in 1 second. Another really simple assumption that we've made. If a notification is important, well, then it's important enough that it should probably also appear on the lock screen. So important notifications will appear on the lock screen as they come in. And all you got to do to be able to deal with that is to double tap, and then you'll be taken into the application, and then you can actually deal with it. And like I said earlier, if you disagree, you can change the setting on a per app basis. So you can come into the settings and say, well, I want this app to show up in the shade, or I want it to show up in the floating drop down or and in the lock screen, where you can actually make this election yourself. And we monitor, obviously, what's going on here. If a lot of people decide that a certain app actually is important enough that it should show up on the lock screen and drop down, we'll pay attention to that. We'll notice that. And then we'll potentially bring it into the whitelist, right? So just to step back for a second. Important and unimportant notifications treated very, very differently. As a user, you can override that stuff. You can say, I want icons all the time in the status bar. You turn that on. Or you can change it on a per app basis. And you can decide how notifications should be treated, right? So we think that's actually, from a usability perspective, a pretty significant step. Possibly one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, that we did in MiUi6. And I would love to hear your thoughts once you've tried it. So let's keep going and talking about content. I want to show one more example of a few things that I could talk about, and that's the Mail app. What we've done with the Mail app to really make it easy for you to get to content and deal with it in a really easy, simple way. So first of all, when you're setting up your work or your school email account, for example, you will have to deal with something like this, where you have to enter your email address, the address to the server, which is often not something that you will easily know. It's not always mail.x, whatever. Sometimes you have to enter port details and so on, usernames, all of that stuff. Well, we decided we should figure out a way to get rid of all of that. So all you have to enter is your username and your password, and we'll figure everything out for you. So auto setup is something that we implemented as part of Mail. You only have to enter username and password. We support already over 120,000 email domains, and this stuff is crowdsourced, right? So when users add new domains, we'll just use those credentials. If they match what other users have been doing, then we can automatically start populating things. And of course, we only look at the public part of the information, obviously not username and password. So that's auto setup. Another thing that we've done to really simplify the UI is how to deal with replies, right? So in the Android Mail client, in the iOS Mail client or in the stock Android Mail client, you have these buttons, and if you want to reply to something, you have to hit reply and then write the reply. Well, reply is a pretty standard action, right? So what we did was, well, you just see the reply text box, and all you have to do is tap in it and start typing, right? And you're writing your reply. You can hit send, or you can tap those three dots and look at other options, for example, like reply all, right? So you could choose to reply all with that message that you just wrote, and off you go, right? So a really simple way to deal with a very basic thing like responding to emails. Another thing that we've implemented as well, which simplifies your life, is viewing your email threads. So traditionally, the way that you would look at a conversation that spans multiple messages, a threaded conversation, in the traditional mail client, with the exception of Gmail, is you click on that message, and then you see the 3 conversations, right? This is how it works on iOS. This is how it works on the Android mail client. Well, we thought it really should be done in a better way, and we actually thought that there was an even better way to do it than how Gmail handles it, which is to take inspiration on how chat apps work. So what happens when you click on that very same message that you just saw, which is the second message on the screen here, is this. You click on it, and what you get is an incredibly simplified chat-like view of that app where only the new part of the conversation is displayed. It's all relatively well encapsulated that you can see what's one message versus what's the other message. Every single one of these messages only takes a very small amount of space, and if there's anything new on that thread, you'll be able to see it right away. Right? If it's a longish message, we add a little more thing, but this makes it a lot easier for you to deal with this conversation. If this message was new and unread, then it would be open. Right? If it's already been read, then it's collapsed. It's so basically a little module that means you don't have to scroll through that entire old message to see what's going on. So a very, very simple thing which we call conversation view. It's an option that's turned on by default. You can turn it off if you don't want to use it. That's conversation view. The other thing is helping people deal with their attachments. Where are my attachments? Your attachments are all in one place across all of the message that you've received. You just have to press attachments, and then we will show you all your attachments in one place. And there you go. Right? So you can click on them, you can see who sent them to you, when it was sent, and so on. So very, very simple. Last thing I want to talk about in content is the home screen. Because after all, organizing your apps is something about making sure that your content is front and center. So we have a couple of new things here, but I'm going to walk you through the full thing. Some of you probably know some of these features, but you'll see the new stuff. So first of all, organizing your home, organizing your house, really important thing to do, and I think we've nailed it in a much more interesting and user-friendly way than any other platform out there. Moving apps, as you all know, on MiUi can be done with 2 fingers in a very simple way. You pick up the icon that you want to move, and then with the other finger you scroll. You can see that again. Right? So you can quickly move it past 2, 3, 4 home screens if you want, and then drop it off wherever you want. You don't have to drag it to the edge, wait for the page to scroll. It's all very simple. So that's moving apps. Something that we've done which is much better on MiUi6 is bulk move. You can pick up multiple different apps, and you can move them all across screens at the same time. And we've made this a lot more intuitive in MiUi6. That's bulk move. We also have bulk delete. Can you imagine what that's going to look like? It's delightful. So you pick up the apps that you don't want to delete. Notice that we've chosen very carefully apps that you've never heard about. And then you drag it to the top. You hit install, and right, you have this salad of colors taken from all the different apps. Right? So bulk delete is pretty awesome. Next one is shake to clean up, also known as, what do you call it again, Jay? As OCD mode. So all you have to do is, when you're in the edit mode, you shake it, and it auto-arranges the apps for you. It only happens when you're in the edit mode, right? So you have to pinch out or hold onto an empty space on the home screen, then you can shake it, and then everything gets rearranged and cleaned up for you. We've got these transitions effects, which we've also polished and cleaned up in MiUi6. This is the standard slide effect. But if you go into edit mode, you can choose, for example, the cube animation or the tumble animation. There's a bunch of others. Rotate is very popular, actually. It's the one that I use. It just adds kind of a new twist to your home screen experience. So these are the transition effects in MiUi6. We've done some cool things with app preview, and more specifically recents, right? Which is like your task manager. So if you hold onto the recents button, this is what you'll see. And at first glance, it's very similar to what you've seen before. Of course, you can flick icons away if you want to kill these apps. You can pull them down, and if you do that, it'll lock them such that these apps cannot get garbage collected. Or you can pinch out, and then you get full previews, but only if you want them. Of course, when you're in preview mode, you can flick them away, or you can pinch to close again, and you go back to just your icons. This is a total personal preference. You'll find 50% of the world's population wanting the icons by themselves. 50% of the world's population wants the actual previews, and one hates the other, right? So we've made it possible, and of course, we'll remember your setting such that you can decide whether you want one or the other. So that's app preview. All right, let's talk about customization. So we've talked about color, motion, content, and now we're going to talk about customization. The first thing I want to talk about in customization are themes. So themes are something that we are super, super proud of, and we've spent a lot of time making our themes look beautiful, and our theme store in particular. So this is a theme store in MiUi6. It's cleaner, it's more colorful, as you'd expect. And we've designed all these awesome themes. We've got Bunny Love, which was designed here in India. And Bunny Love is all about celebrating love with a twist, if you will. So that this is a very recent theme that's gotten 15,000 downloads or so. So this is our famous Rajnikant theme, and you can do a few things here. You can if you tap on this button, you get. Oops, let me go back. Sorry about that. You can fire bullets. Let's see that. Or if you press this one, you can light up the cigarette. Or if you press on this one, you get laka laka. And of course, if you unlock it, you'll notice some interesting things here. The rickshaw that Rajnikant drove in Basha, right? It's the name of the movie. And there's a few other sort of recognizable things that you'll find here. If you look, for example, at well, sort of hard to catch it, but Mind It, which I know is one of the things that he likes to say. This is a movie where he's bald-headed, which is pretty well known. So this is actually it's a very cool theme because it allows you to discover things, I guess, particularly if you are from India. And we are pretty excited about it. Over 40,000 downloads. It's a very popular theme so far. This one is basically from Makar Sankranti, which is obviously a very important holiday here. And we've done something interesting with this theme. This is a brand new theme. It actually has a built-in game on the lock screen. So if you hit play, what you'll be in is a game where you have to catch. Why are we not God? So hit play. All right. No, that's not the one that I wanted. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there you go. So you can catch some pongo. You can catch as many as you can. So that'll give you an instant satisfaction at literally a finger press away. And then, of course, if you want to actually use your phone, just unlock it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful theme to celebrate this festival. And the details are phenomenal. Just really, really nice work. And we've had a team of design interns from around India that has been working on these themes, and many more to come. And it's actually really interesting that they're starting to inspire some of the Mi fans in India themselves to start doing some work, which I'll show you in a second. Well, so this is obviously Sachin, a tribute to Master Blaster. You know, to unlock it, you have to basically do a run. There you go. So you unlock it. This is the most popular theme that we've had to date. And you see the Cricut field in the back. There's a lot of interesting elements from Cricut here, which you'll discover as you use the device. Like here, Cricut Bat, if you go to the recents, you see the roller that's used to sort of flatten out the Cricut field and so on. All right. We have a bunch of Diwali themes that we've designed, and I'm going to skip through some of this stuff. To unlock the phone, you have to light the candles. So this is a very sort of cleanly designed theme that's based, again, on Diwali. It got about 25,000 downloads. We have 2 other Diwali themes that we also designed. This is one of them. And like I said earlier, we've started to inspire fans to design their own themes. Right, so this is a theme that's entirely designed by one of our fans, where color is used pretty freely, and it's a beautiful theme. It's gorgeous, and it's been doing well. This is another Mi fan design theme. Right, these are designers that we didn't know at all. Right, that decided that they thought this was a great idea, so they've been designing themes for MiUi, and we're very excited about that. A little known fact is that with the thousands and thousands of themes that we have in the theme store, you can actually mix and match. So you can say, I want the icons from the Master Blaster theme. I want the lock screen with Rajnikant in it. I want the background from this theme. I want the notification style or the ringtone from that theme, and so on. So you can mix and match them, and that's kind of like the ultimate level of customization, right? You can essentially create your own theme without being a designer. Incredible customization. We have now over 8,000 themes that were submitted, or about 8,000 themes that were submitted to the store in 2014. And we have surpassed 10,000 themes in the store already. This number is slightly old. And then in terms of usage metrics, 328%, sorry, this is in terms of themes submitted, more than 3x growth from 2013 to 2014. In 2014 alone, over 2 billion themes downloaded. This is worldwide, to be clear, which was also a significant growth from the previous year, over 200% growth. So themes are doing extremely well as part of MiUi. Just one final thing on customization. It's what I like to call performance. We have a lot of features that allow you to really sort of tweak and optimize your phone to get the most out of it. A very popular app or function of MiUi is the cleaner function. Over 9 million people use this every single day. It's handled a huge number of files. It's essentially freed up a huge amount of space on users of MiUi to date, and it's an incredibly trustworthy tool. It doesn't delete anything unless it knows that you don't need it. We also have designed a lot of tools for helping you monitor your data usage. This is something that I've talked about before, where you can decide which apps are allowed to use cellular data, for example. And with MiUi6, we've introduced a new feature for data roaming, which we know matters a lot here in India as well, where you say, well, when I'm roaming, I want to automatically shut down all my apps, except for maybe these 3 or 4, or however many apps you choose, right? So it's a data roaming exception list that is incredibly handful because it's automatic, right? So whenever you're roaming and you know that you'll be paying more money for data, that automatically kicks in if you've turned it on, and it gives you peace of mind. It's obviously a fantastic tool to have. We've continued to improve our battery performance related tools with more battery profiles and so on. I'm not going to talk through these in detail. And then, of course, just to close out on potentially the most important thing for many of you, which is security. Right? Security is of utmost importance for MiUi, and we've continued to do a lot of work to do that. Our virus scanner, which has been available on our platform for many versions, continues to get better. We use a really good engine that scans every app, whether it's downloaded or side-loaded, before it is allowed to get installed. And we have done a lot of work around permissions as well, so that you can really control very, very finely what happens on your device. We have the auto start list, which we've talked about before. You can choose which apps are allowed to start on their own and run in the background, which means only the apps that you really care about are going to be using your battery, so and data as well. So this has a huge impact over battery usage, power consumption. We also have a permission manager that allows you to control what your apps are allowed to see in terms of resources and data on the device and what they're not. Right? So here I can, for example, choose Facebook. I can see what permissions Facebook has. I can decide, for example, that I don't want it to see my location, and I can outright deny access at the API level to location information. I can say, for example, whenever Facebook asks to read my call history, prompt me, let me know, and decide at that point whether I want to give Facebook access to my call history, and so on. Right? So these are things that are really, really helpful if you are one of those users who likes to get the most out of your device and who really wants to control things in a very fine-grained fashion. So that's MiUi6. We've talked about the 5 pillars. I'm not going to repeat them once more. And MiUi6, like I said, is coming to India. Starting today, we've begun pushing MiUi6 to Mi3 devices. This process should complete by next week. Same thing for Redmi Note 4G by early February, which is next week. Most users should be getting the MiUi6 update notification, right, which is optional, so you choose if you want to update or not. We expect most people are going to take the update. Redmi 1S and Redmi Note, the regular 3G version of Redmi Note, are going to receive the update sometime in late March to early Q2. So that's our plan right now for India